most, which I think is just so cool, to diversify something that, bourbon can only be finished in so many ways, right? And so to actually have something that gives this much character and complexity, that's super cool. And, let's talk about this. So it is Indiana on the back, and I love that it's Indiana, I think
proudly Indiana.
Yes, proudly Indiana, absolutely.
Proudly.
The best in the world comes from Indiana. So talk to me about that. Was that process a lot of fun?
Actually, I mean, listen, Paul and I get out in front of it. We are MGP proud. This is, when you go back and look at the history, 1809, producing whiskey they haven't been producing whiskey for a generation. You're talking generations as this country was being built. Man. And so to shy away from that or not fully embrace that is crazy. And, I'll be honest with you, the alcohol business is a scrappy business. So we elbow and fight our way in to only get the absolute best of MGP.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've got to source through it, and you've got to go to blows over it. That's your baby,
And you were saying to me, the 40%, this does not drink 40, man. This drinks like it could be, higher and still that complex, which is just crazy to me that you guys are getting that much out of this at that cask strength. You know what I mean? At 40, you're getting that almost CS type of taste, which I love.
And it's interesting too, because we do only small batches. We have to, and that's the only way that we know that we can get that quality control.
Okay.
And you can tell the difference of where the barrels are coming from. When they're at the top of that house, especially, look, summers in Lawrenceburg, Indiana are hot. And that angel share, it goes way, way, way. These angels have got to be, they're hammered, dude. These angels are hammered.
Yep, absolutely.
But the profile, to your point, it does drink like something that's older and something that's bigger, and that's what we were going for.
And we're so proud of this. Well, look at the dolphins. We're so proud of this specific blend that everything that we do. So we have a cask strength, and everything that we do, every type of age statement is all going to have the DNA of this flagship bourbon that we put together.
Yeah, no, we got an unbelievable, because the DNA of this is so great, and it came from, the top down. Vincent was telling us, and we don't want to divert from this. Everything we do, line extensions, we have an 8-year program that's going to blow your mind. Cask strength, the Brothers Bond, bottled in bond, 100 proof version is unbelievable, but it will always have this DNA. And going back to those small batches, we never do more than 135 barrels at a time. Never. Ever, never, never.
Oh.
And it allows us, in the amount of quality control that goes down that pipeline, and it allows us to know each batch, which is, you got to be in it. And so that's why we're so excited. And so when you get into the nose of this thing,
yeah, and cheers, by
the way. At a $39.99, bottle of bourbon,
ridiculous.
That is a 4 grain at 80 proof. That even you look at tasting panel, we just got a 93-point rating on an 80 proof bourbon, which is really hard.
Unheard of. And on that note, cheers, boys.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. I've been smelling this for 20 minutes. I'm ready to go.
So obviously there are a lot of people that know bourbon, but for all of you who are joining in, when you sip this bourbon, small sips are good, but you get a nice sip in there, really move it around, get some air into it.
God, that's undeniably phenomenal. Someone actually said in the comments, now that I know you blended up MGP, I like it even more. Awesome. Wow.
You see that nice sweet kick on the back end?
Right away.
Now your second sip is going to be even better. And you're going to get that equal sensory proportion, right? All those grains are expressed over your palate, but in total harmony and balance. I'm not trying to sound too kumbaya about it, but it's true, right?
Absolutely.
So for everyone out there trying this.
Oh my gosh. That sweet spice that comes in after, almost like a cinnamon or cardamom, just hits you very, very mildly.
That's right.
Gosh. Now, I will say we'll take some time here to shout out Reserve Bar that made this all happen. I know there's a Reserve Bar code that I'll put up after for everybody that wants to buy their there is a code that is coming, so I will put that up for sure.
Yeah, and you know, Reserve Bar is actually where we first launched Brothers Bond to the public. So before Brothers Bond was available at all the retail stores, etc., we did 2 pre-sales on Reserve Bar, and they went, you know, phenomenally well.
Yeah, set a lot of records.
Set some records. Yeah. So Reserve Bar, and we go way back.
You guys were doing the signings on the bottles. Was that for Reserve Bar?
No, we did. Yes, we did do some signings, but when we launched the pre-sales of Reserve Bar,
there were no. Yeah, it was just the bottles. It was a pre-sale. It was the first time it was available.
Well, initially, remember, we had 10,000 bottles. We said, all right, we have 10,000 bottles of bourbon. Let's put 5,000 bottles on Reserve Bar, and let's just see what happens.
Yep.
So, and we knew we had that other 5,000 that we wanted to do something else with. We put it on Reserve Bar, and we're so thankful to Reserve Bar. In 4 hours, all 5,000 bottles were gone. So we realized, oh, wait, I guess we should take those other 5,000, put them on. And then they were gone. So it was 16 hours, 10,000 bottles were gone.
Get out.
And that, by the way, but also, too, which we were so grateful for, this was also people buying this in November for bottles they weren't going to get until March.
Come on.
So they knew. The second pre-sale was really unbelievable. We had 24,000 bottles. We hypothesized. We said, listen, we think we can sell 1,000 bottles an hour. We don't know. And the first 15 minutes, 5,000 bottles were gone. And then the first 40 minutes, 10,000 bottles were gone. And then we had to shut it off, obviously, because we had to shut it off at 24 hours because we ran out. But, you know, it was just really special to see people loving that and knowing that they were going to get a chance to taste this and experience this with us. It was just awesome, man. So Reserve Bar did that, and it was just amazing. And everyone out there who bought those initial ones, you helped set us on this course, and we appreciate you for it.
That is super cool. And you know, later on, after we're done everything here, I've got a couple of audience questions, if that's okay, and I've got them.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Okay, cool. And then I already made myself last night and on the weekend a couple of the cocktails that we're going to do. So, man, that is crazy good.
We have a great cocktail program.
Oh,
yeah.
That's unbelievable. Are you doing the cocktail program in restaurants as well?
We do. Well, there's certain restaurants where, you know, they've incorporated like the Brothers fashion, and hopefully as on-premise kicks in more and more, because we all know on-premise there was a real, you know, lag, obviously, with everything that's happening in the world. But as on-premise kicks in, we'll start getting our cocktails in all those restaurants, et cetera.
And also, too, it's inspiring bartenders to really get in there, and, you know, we're encouraging, you know, new twists on really classic cocktails. But this bourbon is so smooth and approachable and amazing that people are just really, really, you know, sucking it down and really appreciating it for what it is, even in its simplistic form of just ice.
We also have, you know, world-class mixologists who, you know, put together this drink strategy along with us, and she's, you know, phenomenal. And so, you know, these cocktails are really special.
And it's seasonal. Like, there's a seasonality to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just stay in the game and have fun throughout these different parts of the year.
Right. And you know what's funny is that I was telling you this guy earlier that my crowd is 89% men, your crowd is 89% women, but I think that women have a much superior palate to men when it comes to tasting this stuff. So this is like right up their alley with something like this. You know, it's just got everything that anybody could ever want. But I think that women are going to be able to extract more notes out of the palate than men are, just inherently. You know, there's so much going on here.
I think women extract more out of life than men do.
100%.
They're a lot more. They're just a little bit more. They're a lot more aware of everything.
I know.
You know.
Things.
So let me ask you a question, man. What are some of the questions or comments that are, you know, obviously you have people that know bourbon, right?
Absolutely. There's some cool ones here. So I'm going to pull up a couple of here.
Bourbon virgin.
So basically, long story short, we got really cool ones. So, all right. So number one is, you know, with so many bourbons available on the market, what sets Brothers Bond apart, and why should I try it?
With so many bourbons on the market, what sets Brothers Bond apart? Why should I try it? God, so many reasons.
I mean, that's the idea, right? Again, if you are new to bourbon, or it's not, and like Paul mentions this all the time, you know, our goal is to become a bourbon that people could try, or people that typically don't see bourbon or brown spirit as their spirit of choice. Once you taste this and you recognize, like we were just saying, the profile of this, of the aromas, on your palate, the versatility in drink strategies or just over ice or neat. It's a bourbon you can get into, right? You can actually get into bourbon with this spirit because it's approachable.
Yeah. And also,
you know, kick you in the teeth.
We created this bourbon. First of all, those who try Brothers Bond, number one, you're drinking a bourbon that Ian and I created. Okay. In terms of the taste, palate, everything you taste is what we created together. It's not just like some corporate bourbon that people are throwing at you and you're buying it because there's great marketing. We created this. Every single thing you see, we created. Whether it's the label and you know the name and obviously the mash bill. Yeah, exactly. There's our merchandise, everything, and you know, we created this bourbon to bring people together. But ultimately, Brothers Bond, even though the name is Brothers Bond, and it's, you know, obviously a nod to us and our sort of connection with one another as co-stars on a show, but also friends in real life. This is also about bringing people together, you know. So whether you're drinking this with your buddies or your family or, you know, a stranger you meet at a bar, you know, we want this to be enjoyed in good company. Yeah. And so that's the ethos of our brand. And then the final thing I'll say is that there's a give back component, which is unique. I think it's not something that a lot of brands offer. You know, we're giving back a percentage of all of our profits to regenerative agriculture. And we have a lot of sort of initiatives in that department. And I think that it really sets us apart from other brands as well.
Yeah. So can I ask you something with respect to you were talking about the cask strength bottle and the 100 proof bottle and the 8-year. When are those coming to the market?
You know, we just had that. We literally just had that call 48 hours ago, which is, you know, we wanted this stuff to be available for holidays right out of the gate. The thing about it is, I mean, I'm not trying to sound dramatic, but it is